All right, guys. So my name is Cratchy. That's Cratchy Dente Jr. And this is
Hello.
nice. And today we are here on IG Live. We're going to be talking to. We're going to be speaking to some hall presidents in legon, especially Elizabeth Say Hall President, Sabah Hall President, Valco Hall President, and Jane Nelson Hall President. And the topic for today is basically on the COVID-19 measures that are being put in place on the legon campus, because we hear these things going on around and people getting the coronavirus in schools since the president allowed the final year students to go back to school and then finish their examination and all that. They are facing the whole COVID-19 thing, and it's really
I mean, the cases are terrible.
Very terrible.
Seeing on social media how parents are storming in schools, trying to get their children out and take them home. Like, was it a good idea for the president to open up schools? Was it? Well, we want to hear from you guys as well. So the comment section is there. Share your thoughts with us. In a few minutes, we are going to be connecting with
Pius.
Yeah.
That's Pius. He is the Sabah Hall president. Yeah, so he's watching us live and he'll be joining us
very soon.
Very, very soon. So the comment section, as you said, is virtually open for you guys, for your suggestions and all that. And in case, and we're also going to talk about the fact that if the examination that is going to be held in the university, in fact, any form of examination in Ghana right now, is it really necessary that the students go through it during this pandemic? Yep, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, Pius
I
is
think
here.
Pius is here. Let me just add to waiting for Pius right now.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Pius. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. What about you guys?
Yeah, we're doing good.
here
We're doing
too.
good. And you're welcome to Live Extra GH.
Yeah, thanks. I hope my screen alignment is okay.
Well, you are this way, so you need to.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So, Pius, for the sake of our audience, we want you to introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay. Well, my name is Pius Theophilus Bedu, and I'm the immediate pastor, the former Sabah Hall president, not the hall president.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So take
I,
us
I,
through the situation on campus right now. Like, what's happening? Are people
oh yeah.
crying?
No, campus is okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Campus is fine. I think the panic was I think somewhere in March when they discovered that there was a COVID-19 case on campus, and that was what brought the panic. But after we went home and we came back, everything is fine. And level 400s have, I mean, basically finished their exams. There's just a few who are, working on their thesis or their projects and will submit it in a few weeks. So I think so far so good. The registration too on campus, I mean, the voters registration too on campus is going smoothly. At first we thought that things would be a bit rough, concerning COVID-19 and all that, but I think we have all acclimatized to the fact that it's around, so you just have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And are people like going according to the rules, regulations when they're practicing social distancing and all of that?
Yeah, I would say people are going according to the rules, but not all of them.
Not all of
Because
them. Yes, of
yes,
course.
yes, because wearing of mask is mandatory on campus. So every office you go, they will have this notice. Um, Put on a mask before you enter. No face mask, no entry. And also the halls of residence and the departmental offices and all that. But when it comes to social distancing, that's where the issue is. Observation of social distancing is really low because I mean, imagine students we've not seen ourselves for.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, some weeks and you see your friends, oh, you want to hug them, you want to shake them, and all that. So that is the little bit of problem. But aside that, protocols are being observed. When you go to every hall of residence, you see a Veronica bucket in front of the hall. Washing of hands is very, very, very mandatory on campus. Everywhere you go, you have to wash your hand. The use of sanitizer too is something that is done on campus. But the
Okay.
social distancing, that is where the issue is.
Right.
Now, is the whole university premises available to you guys, or some parts have been um, um, um,
Isolated.
isolated?
Mhm.
Um, I think the whole university is accessible. It's just that a lot of the services have now moved online. So, for instance, if you want to request a transcript for internship, you can simply be in the comfort of your room and request it and make payment.
Nice.
If you also want to request your transcript from the registry, you can also do it online. You can also be in your room and go through the catalog of books in the Baum Library. I think the only restricted area is UGMC, University of Ghana Medical Center, where the COVID-19 patients are being isolated and are being treated. That is a place which is not a public space which you could go and then go and mingle and all that. But aside that, every place is accessible, but with the restrictions that I've mentioned earlier.
Prior to what you said earlier on about people not, adhering to the social distancing thing,
Mhm.
what do you think are some measures that can be put in place on campus to make sure like people do go ahead and practice social distancing?
Yeah, some of the measures that have been put in place is that every security man are post. I mean, there are security men are post um, every house of residence to check all these things, and there are also security men, on daily patrol to check all these things. But unfortunately, they are not
Yeah,
really
still
working.
not.
So they are still not working. So I think the public education, continue to hit home on the effects of COVID-19 and the necessity of social distancing and all that. And I think another thing to that can be done is, we could sort of use the current case counts in the
Yeah,
country, yeah, not to like instill fear in people, but as in educate them of the essence of social distancing and and keeping a meter apart from each other, so that in case someone is asymptomatic and you don't know, you will not contract the disease.
Okay, so are there students who have already contracted the coronavirus, and if so, have they been treated? Are they out of the virus? And if they are out, what's the stigmatization situation like over there?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, in March, there was just a case on campus, and that person, I'm aware, has been treated and fully recovered and discharged. But because of that case, a lot of students were isolated, quarantined, and all that. They were sent on quarantine for mandatory, I think, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks of quarantine, and they've successfully been discharged. That was, months ago, weeks ago. So UG campus is COVID-19 free, and there's nothing to fear. But a quick one: there we had students who went on a year abroad. Some went to Benin, some went to China, and all that. I'm aware that those who went to Benin are in the country. So when they came, I think they arranged a special dispatch for them. So when they came, they were sent, under 2 weeks mandatory quarantine, and
Okay,
they've also sent, and by God's grace, none of them were positive. So I could confidently say that UG campus is safe, COVID-19 free
that's nice.
for now.
Now, those on campus right now, are they still going through the online the e-learning, or they are going to class? Now, if they are also going to class, is it in a class there can be about 50 to 60 students in a class? How is the class arrangements like? Is it going to be 2 meters away from each other, or I don't know, how is the class arrangement
they
like?
keep copying them.
Yeah, so with um so with the students, with learning on campus, everything shifted onto the internet, which is the e-learning.
Yeah.
Most of us have finished our exams, both continuing students and final year students. We finished our exams, and we are enjoying our real vacation.
Hey.
Not the COVID-19
All
vacation.
right.
Yeah. But there are few people who couldn't enroll on the e-learning platform because of the fact that they had challenges with internet and wherever they were staying, remote areas and all that. So those people, the university has scheduled a class, some sort of mop-up lectures for them and all that. And as far as I'm concerned, I think lectures haven't started yet. I stand to be corrected, but as far as I'm concerned, lectures haven't started yet. But I think when they start the one-on-one classroom session, of course, the social distancing will be a priority, because when it comes to our lecture halls, I mean, if you have to lecture halls, you see that um, we sit very close to each other. Yeah, we sit very close to each other. But
Yeah.
when the mop-up lectures, I'm sure the spaces will be widened. And one thing is that those students are not many, so they wouldn't be like clustered in a classroom, but they will be well separated.
All right, so for those joining us right now, this is Live Extra, and we are currently speaking to Mr. Pius Bedi, who's the former Sabah president, right?
Yep.
That's what we're talking about. Now, I don't know, we are going to pin the whole topic over there so you guys can
know what's going on,
know what we are talking about.
You not just come and say, hey, what are these people talking about? We are talking about coronavirus,
So,
and if it was a good idea.
Can you help us now with it?
For the
COVID-19 measures going on Legon campus. Yeah, let's look at that.
19 measures going on
Legon campus.
Okay. One second. All right, we are back. So my next question to you will be, do you think it was a good idea that our president opened up schools and universities, like as at now as we are facing this pandemic? Do you think it was a good idea for him to have opened up schools? Network this went dead bad.
Can you hear us?
Oh, hello. We can't hear you.
Oh, Mr. Pius' network is really bad.
Yeah, so
but my opinion, okay. I don't think it's right. Honestly, if I had the willpower, we will all be in lockdown right now.
I'm telling you, but that's the thing. Our country is not functioning properly for a lockdown. If right now they say lockdown, a lot of people are going to go hungry because someone is living hand to mouth.
That's it.
So
that's it. That's it.
Honestly, there's no easy way out for this one.
Because day in, day out, the numbers are rising. The numbers are rising. Right now we have about 129 deaths. Wow. Yeah.
Wow, it's gone to 129.
Yeah, deaths right now.
Man.
And it's really bad. It's really bad. Mr. Pius, can you hear us? We can't hear you at all. We can't hear you.
Like at all. Like the sound just went.
Mr. Pius, you'd have to join us again.
Yeah.
Like just go offline and then you join us again.
Yeah. So guys, we are also looking forward to your comments and your thoughts. The comment section is all for you guys. If you really want to join, you can join us right now and share your thoughts as well on whether it was right for schools to be opened up. Because I mean, you are the president, you have so much power. So you can say, okay, we are shutting down schools until the COVID-19 is over. I know there's a period for people to be writing WASI and their examinations, and all of that, but you are the president, you have that power.
But no examination within this year is not going to cost anyhow.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's our life on the line. It's our lives on the line. We are not seeing the seriousness of it, because when you go to the US and the UK and all that, the number of deaths that they are having is really high, like extremely higher than what we are having in Ghana right now. So people don't really see the whole seriousness. They really looking at Brazil right now, Brazilian president is having a COVID-19, and he's one of the dignitaries in the world that did not believe that coronavirus was real.
Really?
Yes, he went out on talking to others without nose mask. You could see him coughing. Like he was showing all the signs that.
Hello. Sorry.
Yeah, you're back.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can hear you now.
Good,
Now,
good,
like
good.
I was saying now, people are not seeing the seriousness of this whole
At
COVID-19 thing, and looking at the deaths that we're having here, and then the deaths that we're having in the United States or in the UK and all that.
Yeah.
And then the president of Brazil is now having COVID-19. He's now been affected, and he's one of the people in the world that did not believe in the fact that COVID-19 was real. He was going out without face mask, no hand sanitizers. I mean, no form of protection, no form of protection. And he was showing all the signs that he had COVID-19. He was coughing here and there. You could see it on the camera, and it's really bad. So people are out there; they still don't believe it. People are out there; they still don't believe it.
And I'm even in Ghana at the moment. Like people are so ignorant to the fact that it is actually around. Okay. And I went to Accra. I was protected and everything. Yeah. And then I was just like doing a survey. And this guy is sitting there. I was like, I'm about to buy a shoe from him. And he was just about to touch me. And I was like, no, I don't say COVID-19 I say COVID-19 it's in a fear. And I'm like, Miss Nafi, protect yourselves, guys. Protect yourselves. We are not saying don't go out and do your day to day, all right? Just protect yourselves.
Yeah, and you know, on those issues, it's rather unfortunate that the leaders themselves are defaulting, in all this because the leaders are supposed to show example. For instance, you would hear of a member of parliament who had COVID-19 and risk other people by going to the registration center and all that. I think the leaders have to take responsibility and show leadership and let the people understand that it's real. Because you will hear people say that, oh, this COVID-19, they don't think is there, and because they don't know anyone that has personally, I mean, they don't know anybody in their circle who has contracted the disease, and they want to see someone. I mean, but because it's a health related matter, confidentiality is very important. So you can't, pinpoint that this person has, this person doesn't have, and all that. But I think that we have to understand the fact that it's a very deadly disease. It doesn't have a cure, and when you have it, it's 50-50 chance that you will survive it.
A cure, but I heard they're working on a vaccine, and they're supposed to be testing the vaccine out in South Africa, but we haven't heard anything yet from that side. So we can't really say there isn't a cure yet because they're still working.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that there isn't a cure yet is, I mean, the vaccine is being worked on. The US, there have been trials in the UK, like South Africa, like things substantive, has come out of it. So you can't bank your hopes on the fact that there's going to be a cure. The best thing you can do is to be your own protector, be your own cure by protecting yourself, observing the protocols, and when the vaccines come, then of course you'll be able to apply them.
All right. Okay, that's just really interesting stuff right now.
Very interesting.
And also I have a question based on the whole corona thing and students on campus having to study in groups and all of that. Like, have you noticed anyone showing fear of saying like, oh, I can't go out to go into this group because Chalet, what if the person that there has the COVID? What am I going to do? Even though I'm protected, I don't feel protected. All right.
Yeah.
So there are students who are like that.
Yeah, obviously, there are some. I've seen students who, I mean, they wouldn't even want you to touch them in any way.
Yeah.
Not even the handshake. I mean, this kind of handshake because they are really afraid of the disease. I remember last week when we're writing the exams, you could see students they've sat down doing some sort of discussion and all that, but with the social distancing being observed, because some of the courses are a bit difficult. So you need to discuss and have some sort of group study before you go and take the online examination. So that was but
I mean, that's
a very key thing.
That's what
But a very key thing, one of the things the university also implemented prior to we coming back was the fact that there was this protocol, no visits. So you couldn't receive any visitor.
Yeah.
You couldn't. You can't even have your friend from a different hall, let's say Commonwealth or coming to Sabah Hall to come and see you, and vice versa. Okay. And one thing the university did, which I really commend them for, is that they placed each and every person, one person in a single room. Ordinarily, each room takes 3 students. That is the main hall, and each room takes 4 students. But every single person was in a room, so you had like your own room to yourself
Yeah.
because of COVID-19, just so that you could contain the spread in case there is any contraction.
Cool.
All right, so let me just clear this right now. People are texting, asking us where is our nose mask and all that. Now we've gone through the social protocol. We've been checked with the thermometer gun. Our temperatures are okay. That's why we are
Yeah.
sitting like this without face mask and all that. So you guys should relax for us. All right, so Mr. Pines, let me ask you, personally, would you prefer school be closed, like permanently for this year?
Um.
Good
Well,
idea.
that's a tough one.
Come again?
Um. That's a tough one. But my personal opinion, school shouldn't be closed. School shouldn't be closed because when school is closed, there will be a lot of complications. It means that people's plans will have to change and divert and all that. And when school is closed, people will be idling, wandering about. There wouldn't be anything for them to do. If, for instance, they would want to, do some jobs and all that to keep themselves busy, that wouldn't also be available because of the COVID-19. So I think that school should go ahead, but it has to be structured. Whether it should be fully online or it should be classroom learning, the university should sit down and then determine that because of course the online really worked. So I'm sure there have been meetings with the Pro VC and all that, and trying to see what will be done for the next academic year, whether it should be online or not. But school shouldn't be closed. I've seen on the news that Kenya has closed down all its schools for the next
Yeah.
academic year. But the thing is that we should also know that there's a difference between the case counts and the case management and everything in Kenya, and there's a difference in the case counts and management in Ghana. So, for instance, Ghana we have about 20,000 infections, but we also have about 18,000 recoveries, and I mean the active cases. I'm looking at it right now. It's around 4,712. Okay, so even though the COVID is there, but I think the government is doing its best. It's doing really well to contain everything and all that. So for me, school shouldn't close. And I mean, I've heard a lot of brouhaha with the WASI students,
Yeah.
Accra girls, and all that, which has brought a lot of panic and fear. But I also think that the WASI should go ahead because if it doesn't go ahead, then it means that enrolling people in university the next academic year will be a problem. It will be a serious challenge and a serious problem in the country. So it means that university would have to adjust, do a little bit of adjustment, try and do some kind of entrance exams and all that, and which, you know, wouldn't really help the student. So I think the WASI should go ahead. We should try as much as possible to observe and also enforce. Observing is different and enforcing is also different. So once you're observing, there should be an authority to enforce the protocols to ensure that everything goes smoothly. I mean, and one final thing, COVID-19 has come to change a lot of things in our lives, but that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
things should halt. So things should also move ahead. So, but we should do it with a little bit of caution and observing the protocols and all that.
But we hope everyone on campus is having a nose mask,
Yeah.
including yourself. And
Yes,
every
yes, I,
student every student is using it. When you go outside, you see every student in it.
But
exactly, exactly.
I'd like to ask, like, have authorities come to you guys to like distribute and give you guys like free, products like nose masks, hand sanitizers, like those kind of things? Like, has it been done?
Yeah. That's me now. So let me use your medium to commend the Honorable Member of Parliament for Ayaso West Mali, there, Honorable Sarah Malasan. She's done great work, tremendous work. She has distributed a lot of PPEs, stock of nose masks, stock of hand sanitizers to a lot of halls on campus. So, for instance, when you go to the diaspora, Jim Nelson Hall, um, Elizabeth Say Hall, um, I mean, the halls basically on campus. So, when you come to campus, you see students wearing either a white nose mask branded with my lady on it or a blue one so branded with my lady, and you see them holding hand sanitizers with Lydia, branded and all that. So she has shown very good faith. She has done extremely well. She has been to the halls to give them Veronica buckets and all that, and she has done tremendously well. And also, yeah, the university has also done a great job by distributing the government's PPEs and all that. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, cool.
All right.
Amazing
So,
stuff.
Pius, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And we hope we get updates from you
Definitely.
from time to time during this
Yo,
week
I'm always
on
around.
campus.
I'm always around. I'm always around. Anytime you hit me up, we can do it again. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
When it's much more safer, we will be on campus.
Yes.
Personally, yeah. We will
Oh, that would be nice.
We're
So-
planning
Okay,
on
nice.
coming, but no.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. I understand you guys. It's good.
All right, so Pius.
Thank you, Pius.
See you later.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so who do we have next?
In a bit, we're going to be talking to Francis. Now, Francis happens to be the hall president for Elizabeth Francis Hay.
Okay, let's take some comments. I'm seeing people commenting. Hey, some heart icenses. All right. Hello. Hi. Yeah, another hello here. And Era, hey, Kami Bwedi, shout out to you.
Now, in case you just joined, we are still talking about COVID-19 measures on Legon campus.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that's going on Legon campus. And if you're out there and you are not specifically on Legon campus or you are on other campuses, you can also comment and then tell us what's going on your campus. How's the measures over there? Authorities, like the measures that authorities are putting in place over there.
And also, if you're a random person walking on the street and you feel like, something different has to be done to the public so that they adhere to rules and regulations, you can also join us here. You can comment in the comment section. We want to hear from you guys, so we are here for you. All right.
Now,
okay.
looking at what's going on in our high schools and all that, do you think the students should go back home?
They have to go back home.
No,
because right now you don't know who is infected.
That's the thing.
Even
so going back home is a problem now. So you wouldn't know. Maybe a student may be having the
COVID-19,
but not showing any symptoms.
That's true.
And then would go home and go and affect the whole family.
The
whole family should go to quarantine.
And the thing is, we don't even have facilities for all of these children, like to quarantine them. Yeah?
All right, so GH page Ghana News. I'm feeling you in Kumasi with your iPhone.
We are feeling you too.
All right.
So yes, if there were facilities put in place for all of these students to go under quarantine, in isolation, then that would be cool. But there isn't, and you haven't put that in place, and you've opened schools. It's hard. It's like.
But there are some speculations, or there are some things going on around that the president is doing all this because of the election.
That's what they are saying, but I don't think you risk people's lives just to win an election.
Well,
like, are you human at all?
I mean, even looking at the right now, we are doing a new registration for the new voters ID card, and I did mine one.
Hey, did you protect yourself?
Extremely. Oh, come on. Extremely. I protected myself extremely.
When did you get to that though? I want to go do
that. I did mine last 2 weeks. Yeah, I did mine in the last 2 weeks. And at the centers, I don't know how the whole thing was done, but then there was supposed to be a lot of canopies so that people can go with the 2 meters. But this time there was no canopy And it was raining.
Look at that.
Raining, so people were just crowding under just
one canopy.
Like, and then it's, oh God, it was really bad.
I know authorities are doing the best they can, but then at the same time, it's like they're not even trying. Yeah, you've told us to protect ourselves and everything, but yet you've started this voters ID thing. It's compulsory for people to go and do it and all of that. Like, that is 100% free open space for coronavirus spread. Like,
all right,
your
so
people.
Nana Public always is Ghana attitude. All right, so we have Sir Vibes. We have the president of Elizabeth Say joining us. We're waiting for him now. In a bit.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
Crutch.
Sir Vibes.
Your
IG name on the show.
Sir
Vibes.
Most Viber. The whole world.
Vibes.
Oh.
All right. So Charlie, so currently, where are you right now?
We are at TF Hostel at the moment.
TF Hostel. All right. Oh, I can see what's his name?
David Hughes.
David, nice one. Oh, so I have both of you on. Oh,
I mean, we are just using the same.
So,
account.
For the sake of our audience, I want you guys to introduce yourself to everybody.
Oh, all right. My name is Francis Oponwusu, and I'm the JCR president of Elizabeth Francis Say Hall, University of Ghana.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so my name is David Hughes Devro. I'm the JCR president for G. Nelson Hall, University of Ghana.
Nice. Oh, cool. Shouts to Dope Nation. They are watching.
Yeah, Dope Nation. Yes.
Bam.
So Charlie, you guys, we just spoke to Pius. We just spoke to Pius, and then we are asking you the same question. Basically, do you think school should be closed?
What do you say?
Okay, I think I'll take a shot first. So I think that we are in uncharted territory. We're supposed to protect ourselves. The other side of it, we also take cue from where this whole thing started and how it has impacted various sectors of the world economy. And so you realize that for education, for instance, there's educational sector, it has really impacted us and has exposed not just the educational sector, but our health systems as well. And so moving forward, I think that government policy, lockdown, post-lockdown and all that was an attempt to, curb the spread of the virus. Unfortunately, the numbers are still shooting. In fact, if you go to China, you go to Europe, they've opened their countries to neighboring countries to, so that trade and stuff can go on to boom their economy and all. And so you realize that, yes, for me, I believe that government policy is not what will save us. It is our individual safety precautions and measures that we adhere to that will save us. And so, for me, I have two answers as to whether school should reopen or not. I am a science student.
Okay.
I am in my final year. I'm doing my research project. I culture bacteria and viruses in the lab. And so when the lockdown came, the lab was locked. My bacteria and virus cultures all died, and I picked my samples all the way from.
When you say you culture
the virus in the world, he brought the virus.
When you say you culture bacteria and stuff, please explain. So someone will be thinking that you are cooking viruses in your.
No. Not at all. So I was I'm working on a bacteria strain called Xanthomonas, and Xanthomonas affects mango. So mango rotting and all that. Yes.
Oh.
Exactly. So that's what I'm working on. And so you realize that when the lockdown came, it really affected me because the strains I was culturing died in the lab, and I picked the strains from Kede, from a mango farm in Kede. So I had to go back and restart the whole process and all that. Now, when schools resumed, I have been able to continue with my research projects. So in fact, this is not just for me, several other students, not for sciences alone, because you're supposed to meet your supervisors, and all that. So some of the advantages of a resumption of schools for final year students, for science students, and for final year students who have research projects. These are some of the benefits that came with it. But you see, all of this was possible because we took our health into our own hands and made sure that we protected ourselves from the virus, so that we could also complete school successfully and go out there and join the outside world.
All
So
right. Since
these are
you've
some of the
been back
positive.
on campus,
Yeah.
do you see like people taking those measures to protect themselves? Like, are people doing that?
Okay.
Are they wearing their nose mask and
Of
practicing social distancing?
of course, people are actually doing that because now, even before we came back to school, the school had actually given us some measures to follow. You can't go to another hall, and you can't even enter your own hall without the nose mask and all that.
Right.
I mean, the school is actually
So,
doing very well
oh, okay.
in that to protect us. But all the same, it also rests on our shoulders to protect ourselves because I mean we are in the COVID season, and whether we like it, we need to learn how to live with it.
That's
So
it.
we just need to
It's difficult, but we need to go through it.
exactly. We need to learn how to live with it. So I mean we should protect ourselves. I mean individual selves rather than asking someone to force you to wear your nose mask and all that. Yeah.
All right. So, looking at the measures that authorities are giving to you guys, do you think it's enough? It's enough to battle this on campus.
So for us, I would say it's not enough, but the onus lies on us to also make sure that the little we can also do, we do to help. So we realize that government came to share PPEs, government did fumigations in the various halls, lecture rooms and stuff, churches and other places on campus, supermarkets on campus, and other departments. But as student leaders, for myself and my brother here, we took it upon ourselves to petition, to send a proposal to the office of the member of parliament of the area that, hey, when this started, you came to campus, you did sanitizers, you did Veronica buckets and stuff. But we are reopening school. Final year students are reopening school. We need to erase the mentality of coronavirus is attacking us and what, and focus on our studies. And of course, when we dropped the proposal, God being so great, she listened to us. She brought some PPE, she brought nose masks, she brought sanitizers, she brought Veronica buckets, she did some fumigations on campus and all that. So in our little way, this is what we could use our aura as presidents of our various halls to make sure we solicit for support from elsewhere to top up what government had done.
Yeah.
And so, yes, so we also try to speak to our students. We are like, hey, we are in uncharted territory. We do not need anyone. In fact, we are university students, so to speak.
Yeah.
We do not need anyone to come, any police to come and force us to wear our nose mask. And so we have to take it upon ourselves to make sure we are safe. When we came, most of the boys wanted to play football on the field and all that. We are like, hey, we beg you, let's put this. If you want to go for jogging, you can still practice the social distancing and you can go together. But for football, you touch yourselves. You realize that our country, the league cry is not going on and all that.
Yeah.
So, yes. And
Yeah.
so we need to protect some of these things. And so, as presidents, we have their ears. We thank God for that. They listen to us. And so when we tell them, they're able to, so TV room, we go to TV room, we are like, hey, we can't use the TV room. You have to stream. If you want to watch football matches, you stream on your phone in your room. And usually we are in 4 in a room. But we also love it for them to, put 2 people per room where you have your washroom and other stuff. So you're able to track or to monitor your other roommates to know that, okay, this is what is going on. So these are some of the stuff that we have put in place to also help ourselves, because it's not just government that can help us. In fact, if government brings all the policies and we fail to adhere to them, we'll still end up dead anyway.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we think that
So
it's more of,
speaking of, right, like you said yourself, you are the president. Have you had any complaints from students saying they're afraid to do group meetings, group studies, and all of that? Like, I'm afraid. I don't know if the next person sitting next to me has coronavirus, even though I'm protected and all of that. Have you had complaints like that?
I mean, we are humans. We are humans, and of course, the COVID fear is still around. We are in one way or the other afraid of this COVID. So clearly, students will complain, but I mean, we had to be proactive with our leadership skills. So just as my brother said, we had to, call for support. I mean, get letters to prominent people in the constituency so that they will help us. We went to, I mean, other people. I don't want to do any mellow here, but you understand where I'm going at. We met other people, and the MP of the constituency, Honorable Lydia Hassan Seram, I mean, we're so grateful. She came in and to help us. But other people that they've been making noise all over, they couldn't even come in to support us, and yeah. And fast forward, we are in the how do you call it, voters registration process. I mean, on campus and all that. I was expecting that. I mean, some people in the constituency, especially those who are the stakeholders, especially the candidates, will actually come around to support us, give us PPEs. Because at the end of the day, we are registering for them, even though it's our duty to vote and all that. But clearly, we've been observing what is going on, even though social distancing and all that are being followed. But I mean, there is only one thing that we are all seeing, that is Honorable Lydia coming around to give us PPs day in, day out. I mean, we're all doing our best, but she's also helping us. So, yeah.
Now, I want to suggest something. A couple of days ago, let me say a couple of weeks ago, our phones were breached, but nobody has really noticed it. But if you go to your settings, if you go to your phone settings and you go to your Google settings, you're going to see a coronavirus tracking system over there.
Actually, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, and I was suggesting if every student can put theirs on, it works with your Bluetooth and also your location, and it allows you to people who have coronavirus, and in case you've been close to someone who is having COVID-19, it allows you to track all those things, and it will be very, very helpful if every student puts theirs on.
Yes, so I think that the IT department of the university
and the University of Ghana Computing System.
Yes, they put something like that online, a waiver form where students were asked several questions. We fill it online, and then they monitor the progress of according to the questionnaires you answer.
Yeah.
So they put a lot of symptoms and stuff. So the system updates it from time to time, and so once they are also at our beck and call. I mean, we are advantaged to have the University of Ghana Medical Center, which is an isolation center, and then we have a lot of ambulances around. So once you place a call or we sense any, fishy thing, and we place a call, they're always at our beck and call. They come and pick us and we go. So we have some sort of like a tracker system in place. But of course, we are grateful that you have also, suggested to us another alternative where we can also. So after this, I mean, we'll put it in a circular and then, send it to our people so that they can also explore that. We are very grateful.
That would be good.
Also, looking at the situation in high schools and campuses, like deaths, like one student died of ulcer, but apparently he also contracted the COVID-19 and then he died. All right, he passed away. Sorry, that is too harsh. Do you think schools should be closed down and students should go back home? Oh, they froze.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no. Okay, so I'm seeing some comments here. Kweku Owusu Apem that issue. And David, David me a shock. When did she come? Oh, I came not long ago. Don't worry about that. All you have to do is sit and enjoy the content. Thank you.
And if you want to join, you can also join.
You can also join the
ask
conversation.
Virtually, I know that practically you guys are also on campus and all that. So, and there are stuff going on the campus that you want to put out there.
If you've seen something that is wrong and you want to say something about it, this is the platform. Say it, and we will address it for you.
Yes. So I think they'll be back. They'll be back. That was the whole president for Elizabeth Francis saying.
Okay.
He's
coming to address our nose mask.
Koku is coming to address everything. Let's see.
Alright.
So we are waiting for Koku.
Hello.
Mr. Koku.
Hi, what's up?
We did cool. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, I'm also doing very fine. And sorry.
Wow.
Hey, Mr. Koku.
The network is bad.
For the Naka Hall.
Yeah.
Getting to
Mr. Koku, your network is really.
Can you call us back?
Mr. Koku.
Call us back. Your network is very bad. We can't hear anything you're saying. It's terrible. It keeps loading.
That's Mr. Koku's network is really
very bad. So if he can call us back again.
But I'm sure the government is doing its best.
They're doing the best
They're doing their best to.
Okay. I think SNA shouldn't be closed because they are in the incubation stage of the virus. We have 2 requests here.
Let me add survives back.
Yeah. Okay,
so we have survived.
Crack shit. We are back.
All right.
Before we start, let's address the she's
Yeah.
made a very good point.
Someone just gave a comment. I think SHS shouldn't be closed because they are in the after incubation stage for the virus since they went, and therefore would record cases now.
All right, so this is an answer to my question to you guys before you went off. I was like, do you think schools should be closed down, seeing the effects the coronavirus is having on students and classes and all of that? Do you think schools should be closed down? And then that was her reply. So now I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you think?
Well, my personal take is, the educational system should flow. Regardless, it should flow. I mean, even though we are in the COVID period, but we cannot leverage on the COVID to close down schools, because elsewhere outside and all that, I mean, school is ongoing. So now, if we are to close schools down, meaning Ghana is going to be on the bad side, because I mean, when people are accepting admissions, you cannot go because schools were closed down in Ghana here. But I am thinking that they should actually put in more measures to encourage, the PPI usage and all that on the various campuses, SHS, BEC, and all that, so that students can smoothly, complete the educational system and then see the next move, if it's needed. Those schools shouldn't be closed down. That is my take.
All right, and hi.
Hello.
What are you?
Yes.
Oh, you agree with him?
Pretty much. But the little I'll add is that I think that for university students, we are somehow regarded as adults, and so we can take care of ourselves. In fact, if you look at what happened at KNUST SHS, it was very appalling, where a student was showing symptoms, as it were, and was left alone with his friends for about 3 hours. And so when his daddy got there and took him to the hospital, he passed away and all that. That's very unfortunate. We share our condolences with the family and friends of our brother.
Yeah.
And so I would advocate that much attention rather be shifted to the lesser, the basic school and the second cycle institutions, because that's where stubbornness actually breeds. I mean, excuse my
Oh,
language.
yeah.
Yes,
No, it
excuse my
is what
language, but
it is.
Exactly.
yes,
Exactly.
you get it. So we shift more attention there, and then we try and then educate them more, because as for university, we have some calm demeanor and all that. Once I read something on the notice board, I know that, hey, Charlie Jack, you have to be careful with this. And indeed, that is so. We put it much more into perspective, more than these SHS people. And so if schools are going to resume, I mean, schools have to resume, because we are lagging behind. In fact, even when we're in normal times, you go for interviews and stuff with other students from other countries and universities outside there, you realize that, Charlie, we are lagging behind. And so in these times when e-learning was coming, people were kicking against it and all that. You realize that it's the only resort, it's the only way we have to adapt to. And so we try as much as possible to still make sure that our system is flows, to make sure we are not double disadvantaged. Yeah, because already, Charlie, we know they sit up than this. So I think extreme measures should be put in place to make sure that decongestions, if we have to run shift systems to make sure that students are safe, the basic schools and then SHS students are more like safe. That is the way to go. We have to be able to do it. I mean, we've done what's the name? Double shift something, gold
Double
and what?
track system.
Yeah.
Exactly,
track.
double track. So if we can, this is the time I think is best suited for something like that,
Exactly.
where you have many students going into a school and you divide them into two or three. They go a shift system to make sure that they observe the social distancing protocols, health protocols. You put in PPEs. You make sure that teachers on duty and all those seniors on duty, they make sure, say, before you enter a dining hall, you have washed your hands, sanitized, you have your face mask on and all that. I think that is going to help, because nobody is waiting for us. If we
Yeah.
decide to all stay in our rooms, we eventually die, and then people will still keep advancing. So we need to reopen schools, we need to reopen our markets, our hospitals, everything. But we need to make sure that we hit it hard and we get the right measures in place.
But do you think it is compulsory that everyone goes back to school? Like you, for instance, you have to be on campus because of your bacteria and virus thing, right? But what about the people who don't have to do practicals? They can learn online, right? Yeah. So I don't
The
think.
whole thing is the effectiveness of the e-learning.
Okay.
Because I have a friend.
Yeah.
I have a friend who says he was having an exams on the net. Now the exams is in about 10 minutes or something. The moment he started, the thing froze.
Oh no.
That's it.
The
That's
thing
true.
froze,
Oh
and then he
no.
wasn't able to answer any question. So I asked myself, has he failed the question?
I
Or
guess.
has he failed the whole exams?
So
Or
that's
is there
what
going to be
has to come in.
another? You see,
And
that's
you
the
guys
whole thing.
proper nets were like,
All right.
proper
Um,
internet.
in University of Ghana here, we have a flexible system. Now, this was the proposal. We are having e-learning studies, e-learning exam, and all that. However, if you're a student and you're not able to enroll on the e-learning platform, you'll be given a chance to come back to campus and then have it done, have your exam done, have your classes done. So on the general, the percentage of students who were not able to enroll on the e-learning platform is lesser, even lesser than 10%. So with this number, these students can actually come to campus and have the most effective social distancing, and then all protocols observed kind of learning and then examination. So it's not as if you have failed if you're not able to enroll on the e-learning, or you have network problems. And even with the network problems, some of the lecturers actually had a mop-up exam. So if you had a problem with your network, you'll be given the chance to come back later and then do it online. So the person has not failed. Yeah.
Cool. All right. We have a comment here. She says, I also think it also depends on the education enforcement state of Nihu. Infirmaries. Okay, and mechanisms put in place to accommodate this virus in the SHS. because there would be cases going to be recorded. All right, that's not very clear to me, but what do you guys think?
That's our political godmother. She's our political godmother.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, that's why she's asking when did I come? Okay.
All right, so I want to ask you, has any students in both of your halls contracted the virus and have recovered? And if so, how's the stigmatization over there?
Yeah.
Okay, so God being so great, I think that so far, for what I am aware of, it's only one University of Ghana student who contracted the virus when she traveled to the US and then came. And so all her course mates were quarantined for 2 weeks. And God being so great, they tested negative and they were discharged home. But so far, since we returned to campus, by God's grace and with the health protocols in place, we haven't recorded any case that I am aware of yet. Yes, so we thank God for that. We thank God for that. And we've been trying to also educate our constituents on the stigmatization thing, because it's not easy. In fact, we live in a community which is very elite, but you realize that some of these things still work. You hear that this person has maybe, for instance, I'm not saying that, I'm just making a reference, right? This person has gono, this person has AIDS, and everybody's like, hey, you get it. So,
but I feel we are lucky. We are lucky. I mean,
exactly.
when it comes to stigmatization, we are in the university community, so people actually, have that at the back of their mind. That I know what corona is. It's not as if the person deliberately contracted it. It could be that you opened a car, you touched something, and then you just had it. So we are lucky in the university that students are well, abreast when it comes to issues like this, and with stigmatization, they are not actually going to worry people. But we don't know about outside university, and of course the level of illiteracy, excuse me to say, will actually level the stigmatization outside. But I mean, it also rests on us to actually do our best to educate people that, if someone contracts the virus, the person is not, a death material or a death bullet or something. We should get the person close once the person, has recovered and all that, because the person is a human being after all.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you, please, where is Mr. Desmond Owusu? We need him here.
He's actually in his hall. I'll give him a call for you.
Please do give him a call.
But before you guys go, what would you say to the people watching, and what would you say to them?
What would you say to especially parents who are watching, because they are really concerned about their words in school? So what are you saying to them? Like, let them understand the measures that are in place, that they should calm down. Their children are, because you see, if the news is out, people blow it out of proportion. They blow it out of proportion, and then it leads to fear.
Yeah.
It leads to fear. So what would you say to them?
Well, our little message to the parents out there is, we live in a community, university, where we are observing the protocols, at its peak. So they shouldn't fear, they shouldn't panic. Yes, of course, we are in corona period, and whether we like it or yes, we need to live with it. So they should keep us in prayer, and we are doing our best to observe the protocols. And there is the assurance that none of our students in the University of Ghana will contract the virus. So they shouldn't panic, they shouldn't have fear. We are safe here.
Okay. Nice. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much for joining us. And please, Mr. Desmond, please
I'll put him on.
Because I'm trying to get him, I'm not getting him.
I'll put him on. Yeah.
All right, and good luck on your exams and your practicals. Good luck, guys.
I mean, squad will copy, so even normal.
Where is we go link up? That one we go talk for back.
Where is Sorry.
Yeah, peace out.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, my sister just tuned in. Tomato Boy. She's all the way in London.
Oh,
And
hi.
she's tuned in right
Hello.
now. Big shouts to you, right?
So yeah, they said a lot of interesting things. Like it's true. Everything they said is true. But then again, I still stand on the fact that school should be closed down.
Not just school. We should go back to lockdown.
We should.
Lockdown too.
We should.
We should go back to lockdown.
But that's the thing. We can't. Like I said earlier, we can't. Charlie, hand to mouth, hand to mouth. All of the hand to mouth people. If the government would actually have like a whole facility for that, like a warehouse, an empty warehouse, put all these hand to mouth people, like the kayayos and those things, they put them in, and then at least they be giving them something to eat. Then we can go on lockdown.
Years back, the government wanted to do that.
And then what happened?
Looking at the kayayo.
Yeah.
And you see, when you go to Pram and those areas, there's huge land over there.
Yeah.
So the government wanted to build structures, facilities for them to house them, so that they get out of the what we call Sodom and Gomorrah over here. So that they move from that side. Yeah. But they were complaining that the place is too far. It's too far from Accra because they all troop to Accra to work.
Okay.
Some are hawkers, some are selling. They all troop there. And they were complaining that that location is too far. So they never left.
Oh, come on.
They never left.
This
was free.
This is free.
Facility, free shelter.
Yo.
I don't know why they didn't go through with that one.
I mean, okay. They actually do have a point. It's too far. So we could get a place here as well. So we can have one in Pram and have one here.
But the thing is, life begins everywhere you are.
Well, that's true.
Pram, the way the place, it's not going to be like that forever.
That's true.
Accra wasn't like this.
No, it wasn't.
Yes.
That's a fact. But anyways, Charlie, this coronavirus really was.
Yes. So in case you're just tuning in, we're still here, right here on Live Extra G's. We're talking about COVID-19 measures on Legon campus. Right now, we've spoken to Jane Nelson, Hall President, Elizabeth Say, Hall President, and Saba Hall President. We are waiting for Mr. Desmond, who is Valco Hall President. We are still not getting him, but we are waiting for him. Right now.
Hi, Mr. Desmond.
Now, let me ask you, if you get a free first class plane ticket to US right now,
I'll go.
Hey,
I'll go. Stop. I'll go. I'll go. I'll go. See,
people want to die.
No, people want to die. No. People are looking for greener pastures. Even in coronavirus. Oh, yeah.
What money will you get? What money? Right now, the safest job on earth is an astronaut. When you're those living in International Space Station, they are the most safest
away from all
human
of
beings we're having right now.
But anyways, guys, we're still waiting on your comments and your thoughts. Like, what do you think? Do you think schools should be closed down? Do you think we should do another lockdown? Yeah, I'm even hearing, I heard something going around. The president is under isolation.
Yeah, apparently he was he came to contact with someone who had COVID-19, so had to self-isolate.
Okay.
In his home.
Well,
I was hearing something that he went to London for treatment. I don't know how true that is.
Well, we don't know how true that is, so we will not tackle that.
What we know is that he is self-isolating right now for 14 good days.
Wow.
And our senior minister, Honorable, I just forgot his name. Osafo Mafo, Honorable Osafo Mafo, has also contracted coronavirus.
Wow. Yeah. Man, we need to be careful though. The way this thing is just spiking, and I'm just seeing people walking around without protection. It's like you don't know.
I mean, I was driving from Accra to this place, and everybody coming
had
what? You see, in as much as face mask is mandatory right now, it's mandatory, it's by force. You need to get.
I don't know if I should say this here, but I'm gonna say it either ways. Alright, our authorities are walking around telling people to wear their nose mask, face mask, and everything. But yours is under your chin. It is under your chin, like the police station just here. Not the Nima one.
No. Which one?
Osu, around Osu. Yeah, I was in the car, I was going, and then one guy had his nose mask here. He was on the phone, and then a police guy telling him to wear his nose mask, wasn't wearing a nose mask. Like, have you heard some before?
I had this really funny. I had a fight with the security agency who are protecting our president just right here. I had a fight with them just because DJ Lord, myself, and Erica were going to buy cocoa and were not wearing masks.
Yeah.
Now the moment and they were all not wearing masks. The moment he said it, they all put their mask on. It was like a movie. was like a movie over there.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so Kunedu Roy, Kunedu Owusu, that's my sister. She says, I think COVID-19 has come to stay, so we should protect ourselves.
Yeah, a friend of mine made a comment like that. She was like, it looks like we're going to be living with coronavirus.
Do you know a funny thing? In Wuhan, China, where the whole COVID-19 started, right now it's like 10%.
Because they are adhering to the rules. They are adhering to
it. 10%. And looking at the face mask, let's talk about that.
Yes.
The cloth face mask, the material face mask, and the surgical face mask. There's a big difference. When you are wearing the cloth face mask, you can still get it.
Yes, because it doesn't have the whole.
It doesn't really block.
No, it doesn't.
Air from going through. There was this guy on Instagram who was having an experiment with that one. He used the cloth nose mask and sprayed through it. The spray just went outside.
Yeah.
And then used the surgical mask and then sprayed, and then it didn't. So you see that in as much as you are still wearing the nose mask, there's a cloth-like nose mask, you're still prone to.
So are you saying people should rather get the surgical mask instead of the cloth?
If you look at Wuhan, China right now, everybody is in surgical mask.
Yeah,
I watch the news. I watch Al Jazeera. I watch BBC, and I see them. Everybody's in surgical mask.
And I mean, if you're going to wear the cloth one, have the surgical one inside the cloth.
All
right? Because I bought one kente one. It was so light. It is like
very light.
This thing there, nothing there inside.
And right now, people are even customizing it. I can see when I was coming, I saw Adidas nose mask, Puma, like right now, designer will come inside.
Louis Vuitton in that name. I won't lie to you.
It's sad, but then it's funny as well. It is what it is.
So yes, he says you should get the surgical mask instead of the cloth. Because someone can just get up and use this to do a face mask.
That's it, and the person will be just for. Some people are even using dusters, car dusters, just tied.
Oh my God!
How are you supposed to prevent? How are you preventing yourself from all this? How? Like, ask yourself how.
It is totally.
And people are trooping into the markets in a crowd, like, or especially on Thursdays when you go to Kantamatu. It's like nobody cares about Corona.
Oh, it's terrible.
Someone is sweating, and then the person just passed by you.
And
the whole thing,
and then when you go and talk, they'll tell you to sit in the house and don't come out.
And our truck drivers, you guys are supposed to be observing social distancing in your car, but right now the cars are full.
Oh, this morning
you go to the stations and the cars are full.
I took truck this morning. I sat in front because I didn't want to be at the back. It says it's one in front, right? And then the guys like, smart man. I'm like, are you serious? And smart, and I'm in shower whole of them. He
should be even arrested.
He should be arrested. You know, funny thing, him and his mates wearing wearing a nose mask. And I'm like, oh, it's a coronavirus about. At least one of you should be there.
Close line.
Everyone is talking about our nose mask.
See, we've been checked. We've gone through the process.
They've shot our head.
with a gun, we have our temperatures checked.
Even so, it's not right.
Washed our hands.
Even so, it's not right.
It's not right. It's not right that we are affecting you, but then as well.
We are sorry.
Yeah. Let's just apologize.
We are sorry we're not
wearing it, right? Maybe next time.
I mean, how can we sit here and talk about people not wearing it? We are not wearing those masks.
I need to go for mine. It's really downstairs. I need to go for mine.
In fact, let me rush and go and get mine. It's never too late. So keep them. I'll come right now.
Don't do that.
I'm going to take my nose mask. Okay. No problem.
You can go for yours and come. You can go for yours and come. So I'll be here. So guys, we're still talking about COVID-19 measures. Apparently the discussion has gone overboard. Not just Legon campus, but we're talking about the whole Accra and whole Ghana as well. How is the situation? Now let me ask you, how is the situation in your area right now? Are people in a nose mask? Are people observing social distance? If you go to the watches sellers, right now I'm feeling for watch right now, but I'm really scared because if you go to the vendor right now, Charlie, the line over there is serious, and people can't social distance themselves 2 meters away from the watch. It's really sad. How is the situation in your hood right now? So in a bit, we're going to be getting Mr. Desmond Owusu. Mr. Desmond, if you are listening to me right now, we are on, and you need to come and request so that you join the feed, and then we speak about it. So, Mr. Desmond, request, and then let me add you right now. Mr. Desmond will be coming soon.
Yay!
Yeah, I think he's watching us now.
Okay.
He's watching us now.
Hello, see, now I'm protected. Watch out.
So, like I was saying, right now, the topic is gone overboard. It's not just Legon campus, it's
It's
the
all
whole
over.
Ghana.
Yeah.
The whole Ghana. How is the situation in your hood right now? Social distance, are people observing it? Are people being vigilant?
That's why she said, like, she's practicing social
But
distance.
I was just talking about the fact that I feel for watching, but I'm really scared to go in for it right now, because you go to the watching sellers, the line over there, it's really, really bad. I mean, maybe we have to do a watch it app and then start ordering the app.
But the Rockstone has made it easy
but
for
you. See, if you don't get the watch, if you don't get the watch from the Amelia by the data, it's just not nice. I don't know.
The directors, like the rates at which the COVID cases keep rising, and no one would be like, what can come?
Assembly.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Mr. Desmond, we are still waiting for you. We're still waiting
to
for
connect with us, so we know what's happening.
So Mr. Desmond is going to be
home.
our last guest. Not just our last guest, but if you're out there, you want to join the feed, you can also
join us right here. We got you. Awkward silence.
I'm hungry, sir.
At this point, there should be a cricket sound.
Yeah.
Alright, so guys, this video is going to be available on our platform, that's Live Extra GH. So if you want to start the whole thing again, the whole conversation, you can watch it on our IGTV. Alright, so Mr. Desmond.
Mr. Desmond, you are the one we're waiting for right now.
We are waiting for you.
Now, people, you can also hear that media houses are also media houses are also contracting the COVID-19 measures and all that. And I'm saying big shouts to EIB Network, because they are really giving us some serious tips to go through this whole pandemic. Right now, people have 3 days off and all that. Like, it's really helping us this morning. Currently, Miss Drew is off. So I'm sitting in for her the whole week. Next week she'll be in. So next week I'll also be off.
Thank you, Klaus.
Klaus.
He said we are doing a good job.
Right now you'll be okay. She's in those masks.
Yeah.
So if I'm not crying, I'm cool. Hey, Mr. Desmond.
Mr. Desmond.
Come with me. Hey.
Oh, Mr. Me come watch it be wo ho. So me could you. Watch it be me.
Mr. Desmond. That's what they want to
anyways,
what university did you attend? I attended Central University.
Okay.
Right now we are seriously going through the e-learning.
Yeah.
I think it's really something, because they introduced the e-learning, the e-library, and then the whole e-learning thing.
I think your course doesn't necessarily need like.
No, my course doesn't.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to say. If your course doesn't need you to be on campus, stay home.
Stay at home. Stay at home. Maybe the e-learning.
And leave it for the practical people, like the virus and the bacteria.
Now, do you think this whole COVID-19 was intentionally cooked up in the laboratory in China?
That is what they want us to believe. That I'm hearing it, like I've been reading articles on it, like they say it was intentional.
I'm trying as much as I can.
Bring America down and all of that. Like,
and right now, Trump is battling with the Chinese government, and is even
Yeah,
planning on banning. He's planning on banning all Chinese social media apps, including TikTok, and all that.
Wow.
That's what's going on.
I don't even know what to think anymore.
I'm trying not to believe it, but then I know for a fact that people are out there who are creating computer virus, and then they throw them on the internet. If you go for them, your computer is having a virus, and then they are the same people who create antivirus for you to buy. Okay, so Mr. Desi is
ready.
On. Mr. Desi is on. He's connecting real soon.
Waiting for Desi.
So right now the virus, It's really, really, really sad. Mr. Desmond.
Hey,
Yeah,
hello.
hello.
How are
Mr.
you doing,
Desmond.
Mr. Desmond?
Finally,
Hello.
finally, I've been looking for you this whole morning.
How are you doing?
Oh, yes, yes. I'm very sorry. I was having a bit of challenge with my phone. That is why. So forgive me for that.
No problem. You are forgiven.
Understood.
Sure,
So, how are you
sure,
doing this morning?
sure. I'm fine. How are you guys doing too?
Yeah, we are great. We are great. We were able to speak to Francis, to David, and also to Pius.
Your
Sure,
turn.
Now it's your
sure.
turn.
We need to hear your views
So,
on what's happening on campus. So right now,
currently, where are you?
where are you? Yeah.
Okay, currently I'm on University of Ghana campus and I'm at should I say I'm around Legon Hall. Let me see that.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
You see, that's another problem with the nose mask. You can't.
Let me chip in that unfortunately she's an asthmatic patient.
Whoa.
So when she uses the mask, nose mask for a period of maybe 5-10 minutes, she has to take it off
Wow.
so that she can get kind of fresh air. So what security man said,
What
"Hello,
if
lady,
she
please."
takes it off at the wrong time when she's
Oh.
in the midst of people who, oh God. I mean, she has,
That is the challenge we are having here. So we will try and cope around it. So I have to even speak with the security man to allow her to take it off for a while. Then later she will take it back. So it's not easy. There are a bit of challenges around the whole this issue of COVID-19. So we all try to cope
So what's the
and
situation like on
assume the
campus right
normal.
now? What's the situation with students on campus right now? Are they in fear? Are they okay? Are they adhering to rules and regulations? Is everything okay?
All right, thank you so much. For campus, when you come here, everything is under control. So I must say, since students were told to come back, though some people before they were coming, they were having a bit of, they were anticipating a whole lot of fear and all that. But as I speak to you now, everything is under control. And when it comes to the precautionary measures or the protocols, as the government gave us a generic one, the University of Ghana authorities or the school management also give us a precautionary kind of template or protocols to be observed. And we've also ensured that students, observe all those protocols. And one thing that I would like to touch on is the Member of Parliament of Iowa West Wagon also has also contributed that much
nice.
to that effect. So as the school was giving us face mask and nose hand sanitizers, the Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Lydia Al Hassan, also has also done marvelously well. For her, she was doing it far away since the lockdown period. That some students were even trying to be around because of their project on campus and all that. So she was all over sharing, nose masks, sanitizers, and even to the extent of sharing relief items. So she has also played, a huge role in this whole process. To ensure that students on campus are always safe.
Okay.
Sure.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Nice.
So I'm hearing like word going on around that the president opened up schools and he allowed people to run free because of politics and elections. All right. So I'd like to take your view on that. Do you think our president will put our lives at risk just because of politics?
Thank you very much. I don't see it that way. Let me pick it from my point of view, then I come back to the perception people have. I don't see it that way that the president is putting our life at risk, that probably he's not thinking about us or caring about us. Our lives are not at risk. Aside this COVID-19 issue, our normal routines, though we are not in ordinary times, but we can't also say that because of COVID-19, we should always be in the house. Certain things must go on. So as I said, when you take University of Ghana campus, for instance, there were some people that they could not access the online learning, or let me say the e-learning, because excuse my word, some people were in areas that when it comes to internet connectivity, it is a big challenge for them. And also another thing is that when you are in the house, you don't have this kind of conducive environment to study. You are being because of the environment you find yourself. So some people couldn't, have access to all these stuff. So they coming to campus was even a good thing for them to come so that they can have, a conducive environment, strong internet connectivity to do their e-learning and also to also write their exams. I have to emphasize on that. So, for example, me as a whole president, people who were in the house during the lockdown were always finding out if they can come. But I told them, management said this. The school has brought, a communique. The management too are also ensuring that. So be in the house for the meantime. When the president says that you can come, then you try and come. So students were even trying their best to come because they were not in the good, state of environment to have this kind of free flow learning that the Ministry of Education asked the universities to employ. That is the e-learning.
Okay.
So I don't think so. These are all the conditions around the issue. So aside this COVID-19, we can also go around and do certain things that are needful. You understand? For example, the final year student, they have to write the exams and probably graduate.
Yeah.
So then, of course, we have to make sure that they come. But then the precautionary measures are being observed strictly. Aside we having one or two challenges, we are trying to make sure that these, protocols are being observed so that everyone will be safe. So I don't see the president putting our lives at risk. I think he's thinking more about certain things that we need as humans. That is why that directive, I think, was given by the president.
Okay, let's talk about alcohol right now. How is alcohol coping with this whole pandemic? And I know that some rooms are 4 in a room, 3 in a room, 4 in a room. How are students sleeping in their rooms? Is it two now, just 2 in a room or 1 in a room? How is it like?
Okay, so for Valco, let me say it is a graduate hall. Valco is a graduate hall, so we are 2 in a room.
Okay.
Every room we have 2 people there. And before the students were asked to come back, I had a meeting with my hall master. That is my executive council. We had a meeting with the hall master. So we actually came in agreement to make sure that the precautionary measures are being observed. And people will not just come and do anything anyhow. So before you even get to the hall, there's this kind of notice in front there: no nose mask, no entry. No nose mask, no entry. The porters are also ensuring that anyone who comes in, you sign into the arrival book so that in case of any future occurrences, there can be a proper tracing. Aside that too, as I said before this lockdown, when we coming back, the junior common room, that is the JCR executives, we try our possible best to provide some sanitizers, at the porter's lodge. So anyone who enters, try to sanitize, his or her hands. Also, the junior common room, the JCR executives and the hall management too, we try to provide, Veronica buckets in front of the horse with soap as well, so that you wash your hands, you do. So everything was, under control since the lockdown up to now. And I want to repeat this one too. The Honorable Lydia, Saram Al Hassan, a member of parliament, also did her best by giving us, face mask and also hand sanitizer. So me, myself as the president, I move around with people and I was sharing them. I go to each room, I knock your door. When you come out, then I give it to you. So for Valco, everything is under control. As I said earlier, on Legon campus, everything is under control as well.
Okay. Now, the 2 in a room, I don't know how big the room is, but is it going to amount to that 2 meters that we are all talking about?
Yeah, so with the 2 in a room, the room is a bit spacious. It's spacious. So we have kind of each one occupying the other side. But then aside that, before you come inside, as I said, If you are a student, we check everything before you come. And if you are inside us, we are taking responsibilities for our own actions. You make sure that you don't allow your roommates to do anything that can serve as a risk for you. Because once you let your roommates to probably do anything that can cause a harm, you are also, at a risk of, contracting the virus. So, and they are graduate students, let me see that. So, are very, very careful, and they are also observing the precautionary protocols. In the rooms, they are always cool, unless maybe you have exams to write, the person is in his or her corner, the person write the exams. If you go out, you put on your nose mask, your hand sanitizers, small ones, they have among themselves. So as they go out, they use that one as well. So everything is okay. Everything is okay there.
Okay, let's come to studies. Okay, like how are students coping? Like, are they afraid? Is it affecting their studies? Like the coronavirus, is coronavirus affecting their studies? Sorry.
Okay. Let me say yes and no. But then I would like to choose one. Yes, of course, it has affected them, and I must say, even the whole Ghana, this coronavirus has really, has affected our studies. But then, in a way, some people prefer, let me say, when it comes to the teaching and learning, some people prefer they being in a classroom so that they can enjoy this kind of face to face with their lecturers. But because of this pandemic, there is no way that thing can happen. So automatically that is, out. But
If that
the
what
alternative
are they
was
still doing on campus?
Yeah, basically.
yes, sure. So as I said previously, went to their various homes, were having challenges with their internet connectivity. So they were not actually benefiting well from the online learning. And also, I said something about when it comes to conducive environments, when you come to campus, your mindset psychologically is on academics. So you can have all of time to concentrate on whatever you're doing. For example, the final years, when you come to alcohol, most of them are completing their thesis, their research work. So most of them prefer they being on campus so that when they are in their various rooms, they can have access to the internet, do the online research, work very hard, and also meet the deadlines. That's why not all of them came, but those who came have their new concerns and reasons why they are supposed to be there.
Okay.
All right. Now, are you guys having a good e-learning studies, like effective e-learning studies
On campus.
Yes, please. I must say that the electronic learning, in as much as possible, there are a bit of challenges. Students are, for my whole, I have to say that they are enjoying it. Those that they are doing coursework, when it's time for them to do it, they just plug in that into the system, and they will be
uninterrupted
having that.
internet access?
Um, for Valco, there are few instances that the network switches off. It's a normal fluctuation everywhere you experience, but we always make sure that the IT, technicians are on the internet connectivity. So immediately we receive a notification of it being interrupted, we call them and quickly they come to resolve it for us. So,
All right, but then it's the same as having
so we don't have much when it comes to.
So shouldn't they just stay home? It's the same, isn't it?
It is.
It's the same.
It is, because if you are home and then
You have an internet.
I didn't get your question well. I didn't get your question well. If you can repeat it for me.
She's saying that isn't it the same thing that the students are going through if they are at home?
Yeah, because you say they come to school for good internet, but then he asks you if e-learning is
Yes.
doing okay, and then you say yes, it is, but sometimes the internet switches off, and then you have IT personnel fixing it for you guys and all of that. And I'm like, isn't it the same as being home and having the buffering and all on your device?
Not at all. It cannot be compared as being in the house and experiencing a very bad network. This one, the switching off I said doesn't, last for long.
Okay.
For example, as I'm here, if I receive a notification, maybe somebody reports that the internet is fluctuating or something, I quickly call them and they come to attend to that. So they keep enjoying. The people in the hall are okay being there because of the deadlines that they have to meet. So they being in the house, this one cannot be compared to that at all. I have to emphasize on that.
All right. So
All right.
Not at all.
Close Sly wants to know. We were talking about everything under control on campus, and he's saying everything under control really, where control means adhering to virtual learning or physically making it to lectures. I just want to know. I think the best decision was to stay home for now.
So
What do you think about that?
It's right for people to stay home, like students to stay home and not come to school for now.
For I can speak much for the graduate student. For the graduate student, I am part of them. If we should say that the graduate students should stay home, it will be a bit of challenge because for us, we have to, and sometimes we even have to meet your supervisors. You understand? Sometimes the students are being grouped maybe four in under each supervisor. So you book an appointment with your supervisor. He or she gives you a deadline. You go and work very hard on it. Then you are supposed to go back and give, account. So to say students should stay home for graduate students, I don't think that would be best for them because the exams alone, when you see one question, you have to be very, very wild researching on the internet, trying to get information and all that. You understand? And I think the same thing too applies final years undergrad. Some of them, the exams that are given to them, you have to research on the net. So the person being in the house and having challenges here and there are deadlines. Sometimes the Sakai, the system that you are supposed to submit your assignment to opens for a particular period of time. So if you are not able to meet the deadline and submit, it means you've failed or something.
Right.
You get
Yes.
it. So these are all the conditions that behooves that students are supposed to, those who are probably supposed to be on campus have to come.
Okay. So you mentioned grouping under one supervisor. Okay. And I'd like to ask you, has there ever been a situation where a student has been reluctant to go for that? Sorry about that. To go for that group meeting with the supervisor because they probably feel like, okay, maybe, just maybe, I don't know the people around me. What if this one has the virus? Even though I'm protected and all of that, I'm still afraid. I'm not comfortable. Has there ever been an instance like that?
Okay, let me clarify something quickly. When I said grouping, it doesn't mean that they will be going together as a group meeting. No. It's like, for example, you can have like 3 students being supervised by one person. So the lecturer will book an appointment with each and every one. And sometimes the meeting that they have is for maybe a very short time. So it can be one-on-one with the supervisor. You finish and maybe another time somebody goes. So, but it's just that maybe one supervisor can supervise like 3 students work. That's what I was trying to say, like grouping. So it's not like maybe all of them go together to meet at one place. No, it's not like that.
Anything like that before, like since the corona started?
Sure. For example, my supervisor, mostly we do the meeting online. So you have to give an account, the deadline that you were supposed to meet, what you were supposed to do. You have to give an account. Unless it becomes so necessary, then probably he would have to book an appointment to meet you one after the other, not as maybe all of you crowding together or something.
All right. I want to know the effectiveness of the measures over there. Supposing a student starts showing signs and symptoms of COVID-19, how fast are they going to get the student to the quarantine center? And then when over there, what are is there even a quarantine center on campus, and what are some of the measures over there? Like what kind of drugs do they give to the students to boost their immune system or to control the whole situation?
Okay, so before the students were asked to solve systems that are being put in place, the University of Ghana hospital, the university hospital has response team as well as the school. So it's kind of collaborative work that they are doing. So and before the students came, they were being asked to please come again.
I said, is there any toll-free number that you guys would call in case someone starts showing symptoms?
Yes, please. Most of the communiques that goes around, you see the University of Ghana, hospital line under. So, for example, my situation, most of the communiques, even if it is not about COVID-19 issue, precautionary measures, any communique that comes, we have some emergency contact numbers, and the University of Ghana one is bad. So, and also before the students were asked to come, they were allowed to, or they were asked to fill some online questionnaires, a whole lot of questions. So once we see a red light, there are some questions when you take yes, it shows that that one is a red light. So once you take that one and it goes up, they will quickly get in touch with you. That is how the whole process, was. So that one, they are done filling it. And the school also has a response team. The University of Ghana Hospital has one. So immediately they get, a notification like that quickly, then they get in contact with the person. The same way as the horse management who are doing, almost all the horse. We are always in check to see that we don't know what might happen, but we are always being each other's keeper. So let me say that we are putting things in place, and the University of Ghana Medical Center too is right by the, let me say, it's on campus as well. So everything is under control. Let me say that to, a greater extent.
All right. Bregbayo is making a lot of sense over here. He's saying the whole thing is upside down. Students should have been tested prior to getting campus. All positive treated and isolated at home, while negative allowed to come home. And he says questions and differentials, filling questionnaires on symptoms and subjects are subjective and objective. An objective way is to test. Expect a rise in cases.
I know, right?
So, like he's saying, was there any point in time that you guys were tested
as you came to campus
before you even got to campus?
Okay.
I will say that for that one, I can't speak much about it because the government or the school management didn't maybe authorize a compulsory testing before you come. I didn't hear anything of information. I didn't hear the same as maybe the government didn't also emphasize or say that all students who are going back to campus have to test before they get there. But then, aside that, as I said, there were a lot of systems being put in place. So sometimes somebody might have some of the symptoms, but because of it not being open for you to know. So I said the university has a response team. As I speak with you, there can be a situation that they are contacting certain people that me and you, or maybe the people around here, don't even know. But we didn't have a compulsory testing to know each and everyone's status before the person comes to the hall or to campus. So that one
should have been done though. Like when you get to school, the campus, there should be authorities around checking
like
you,
in
testing
your entrance. The way you guys have toll booths at your entrance.
That should have
I'm talking about
done.
It should have been, the center should have been at your entrance. One in front of the stadium, and one at the Gimpa Road, and one at TF hostel and all that. So that if students are trooping in, they need to be tested first. Do you guys even have any testing kits on campus?
Yeah, the University of Ghana Hospital has, I mean, a testing protocols, as I say. So to the hospital, when you go to the hospital and present certain, should I say, sickness, they try to ask you some questions to know if you would have to, I mean, have a test as well. So it's a kind of a holistic, just that that as I said earlier, there was no compulsory testing, so that one is an issue in a way. But then aside that, the response team are always on check. Each and everyone is playing his or her role. All the agencies, I mean, and other department on campus are always, I mean, on check to ensure that if we receive any notification or there is a red light, then the response team will quickly get in touch with you. The same as the university hospital. When you go there and you complain of certain symptoms, they are in their own, I mean, in their own knowledge. Some of the medical doctors recommend you to some people that if you have to be tested, will do that. Just that the compulsory one was not done. Let me say that. Because I had I mean, an instance like that. I went to the hospital somewhere 3 weeks ago. Yes. So when I went there and I got to the consulting room, the medical doctor asked me that, what's wrong with you this morning? And I said, my head is aching me. So then he sat well in his chair. He was looking at me. So he asked me so many questions.
It's a problem.
No.
Problem.
I wasn't coughing. I think it was stress. So I was, I mean, experiencing some headache and small, I mean, body weakness. So I went there and he asked me a lot of questions. So after the questions, and he just prescribed, I mean, medicine for me. So I went to the dispensary and took my drugs. So you see, I was actually responding to the questions he was asking me. Definitely, there could have been a recommendation for me to, I mean, see another person if I would have to be tested.
All right.
So these are all measures in place. Yeah, sure.
So, do you want to read out the comments, what people are saying?
But still, break bio.
Cloud says
okay, Cloud says education is here to stay. Humans won't live forever. I won't even go to campus. Should I have been a final year student? Fail me, let me keep my life.
That's true. You can always you can't live again.
That's it. Everybody saying testing will allow case traced. It wasn't done. I'm a student. I'm sure students were erroneously assumes to be negative, and majority are what?
Asymptomatic.
Hey, right there, both of way. To say I'm good school, right? Alright, status should be have been done first. Now he says once you don't test, you can't confirm COVID-19. One student can affect hundreds.
Yeah.
It's just risky.
It's very risky. At least, yeah, if like tests were done at the entrances, like he said, then yeah, we know that all right, people are safe to come to school. But then it wasn't done, and then already people on campus.
Now I don't even see the reason why you guys are putting toe boots over.
I'm sure. No. I think for one, I'm very strong about the fact that people should.
Okay. So sure. So, for one reason, I agree with you to some extent, but then I think that one can be a strong recommendation that probably the student leaders, I mean, on campus can push for management. Once, I mean, the final years are done, and maybe the continuing students are coming back, we can push for that, for that to happen. Right. I think it's a good recommendation. It's a good recommendation, and we will find ways and means to champion that for that to happen. Because as you're saying, we have two strong gates at our entrances, so we can find a way to actually have that process. I mean, so that each and everyone soundly, once you come, you know that I've passed through the process 100%. Sure. So we will try and work on that. We will champion that.
That would even ensure students like feel more comfortable going around and doing, classes and all of that. So that will make sure they are comfortable and, cool enough to do that. But thank you so much, Desmond, for your time. We really appreciate you taking a little bit of your time to communicate with us here. Big Bio is still saying something.
Sure.
Please, screening done is temperature check, which is no. It's just a lot of confounders. Well, good discussion. Keep it. All right. Thank you so
Sure,
much.
sure. So, yeah, thank you for the opportunity you've given for us to speak. But one thing that I would like to add is that we now, as we find ourselves, we are not in ordinary times. So, to my University of Ghana students and to my residents at Valco Hall and to everyone on campus, we have to take our own responsibilities for any action that we decide to embark on. In as much as the government is doing its best, the management of the school, they are also doing their best. The management of the halls are trying to also enforce what the school is saying. Yes, in all the halls are also trying to ensure that students observe the protocols. Let us also take the opportunity, or let us try our best to also take responsibilities for our own action and try that we stay safe, because Ghana needs us alive. We have to try. So my greetings to everyone who also join this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Desmond. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Oh, so that was Desmond, the president of alcohol. I think it has been a wonderful discussion.
It has been very, very eye-opening. Yes. So, what do you think before we wrap up? Or what do you think about this whole thing? Our final thoughts: should they go or they should stay?
For me, right now, they don't have enough measures.
No, they don't.
They do not have enough measures. So everybody should just go back home.
But that's the thing, if they go back home and they have the coronavirus, they're infecting their family members.
So before you go home, let's say they're supposed to go home, the government should let them go home, let's say next month.
Yeah.
Testing should start now. Testing should start now. So that all those who are not having the virus will go home. And all those who are having will be there. So that we know the numbers.
I know. And if you know the numbers, you'll be able to track and go. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had fun talking and interacting with us. When are we doing this again? We will do this again.
We will definitely do this again. We will definitely do this again.
We will be back again.
Yeah, right? So it will be posted on our IG Live, so you can just go back and then rewatch everything from start.
Yeah.
My name is KDJ, that's Kratchy _ KRAKYE _ on Instagram.
And I'm Erabana, simple EWURAABINA.
That's it right here on Live Extra. Guys, it was a blast.
Bye, people.